Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to you. Boop. Boop. Hello. Hey, Amanda, any updates? Why are you making all those noises? Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Julia. Good morning. Hey, Nikki. What's everyone drinking this morning? You got your coffee, you got your everything ready to go, start the week. It's a busy day today. Got a lot going on today. Hey, Jen. Hello, hello. Good morning, Avery. Good morning. Oh, I got that back. Let's see if that works. Did that work? Jen, did you get a wave? It gave me an option to wave at Jen. I took it. I waved. But only Jen. It didn't give me an option to wave to anyone else. So I'm going to do this for everyone else. Why did only Jen get the wave? It feels, I love Jen, but it feels a little rude to everybody else. You may only wave at Jen. Weird. It is what it is, I guess, right? I don't really understand how they decide that kind of thing. Strange. TikTok is starting to drop. I DM'd you on Patreon. Oh, okay. If it's still about the Hanukkah slimes, just hang on tight because we're not ready for Hanukkah slimes just yet. I did get your other DMs about the Hanukkah slimes. Whoa. That was weird. Did you guys see that? You saw that, right? I muted them because it was weird. It was someone just taking everything that everyone was saying and repeating it. We don't need that. I don't need repeats. I didn't like that at all. That was not fun for us. We're gonna go ahead and not have that here. We don't need repeats. We do not need repeats. No. With a Joker card as their username. Yeah, it was a special kind of weird. I don't really understand the purpose of what they were trying to do. Is that the sound of your coffee machine? Yes, that is indeed the sound of my coffee machine. It makes weird sounds even though it's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with it or anything. It's just a loud machine, but I can't live without it. How did baby do with Thanksgiving dinner? I'm not a huge Thanksgiving food fan, so I didn't eat abnormally a lot or anything, so she was fine. I saw a lot of people. I don't know if all Nespresso machine. Oh, for the love of God! Wow, someone came back. Okay, we're just gonna. They just keep doing it. I don't know if all Nespresso machines are that loud, or if it's just because you guys are so close to it that you can hear it like that. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. All right, we've got our coffee. Hey, Liv. Yeah, I mean, because, like, it's right here, right? So you guys sit really close to it. Are you thinking about getting a pet? Probably not until our baby is at least 1 year old. Because I think trying to take care of a new pet and a newborn at the same time feels stressful. You know what I mean? That feels like a lot to deal with. It's made my December to-do list today. Yeah, I need to get started on my coffee. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Time to have some coffee, everybody. Everybody grab your coffee. I have mine. Ah, delightful. It is fantastico. Is your tree decorated? No, not yet. We've just been really busy. We put up the tree, but we haven't had time to decorate it yet. Hopefully we'll decorate tonight or tomorrow. Yeah, it's just been a really busy time. Today is also a really busy day. Like, I have a doctor's appointment and a doula appointment, and I have to make the slime of the month, and I have to send more orders. I have like 7 bins in the hallway ready to go to the post office of orders from this past week, so I have to do that before we go to the doctor. It's just a really busy time, but we will get it decorated this week for sure. For sure. Yeah, it's just a really busy time right now. You know, having to go to so many doctor's appointments on top of work and everything else really, like, puts a damper on getting stuff done, you know what I mean? Because, like, you can't exactly, hopefully Santa gives you a break. I mean, wouldn't that be a joy? Wouldn't that be a joy? Yeah, that's kind of like us, Avery. We're kind of in that position right now as well. We've had it up for like a week, but just haven't had time to decorate it, you know? But I'm still drinking out of my Beetlejuice cup. But you have 2 kids, Nikki. So you have, wait, no, you have 3 kids. 3 kids? 3 kids. So you have like actual humans to run around after. I don't have to run after my kid yet. She's still inside 3. I knew that. I don't know why I said 2. I corrected it. I knew it was 3. 1 is just so small. But actually we were talking about them this morning. We have 3 trees up and kid. You know what, Alyssa? That is so cute. Finishing grad school is an excuse in and of itself, Jen. But I was gonna say my mom is kind of doing what Alyssa's doing with my niece and nephew. She got little mini trees for my niece and nephew to decorate at their house. Yeah, no, listen, but you know, your tree's been up for 2 weeks. Yeah, no, I mean, it's great. You guys should see my mom's house. If I had a picture of it right now, I would show you what she did. My mom's house is wild right now. It looks like my childhood exploded all over the house. She decorated it like when I was a kid, and so my niece and nephew are getting to experience that. All right, so before I get reading, I just want to let you all know I'm probably going to be on around like 3:30 or 4:30 p.m. today to make the slime of the month. If anyone wants to see what the slime of the month is, obviously everyone voted on Icy, so I'm gonna make that probably, like I said, probably around 3:30 or 4:30 p.m. today. That's in between my doctor's appointment and my doula appointment. So if anyone's interested, that is the time I will be doing that. You can come hang with me because, you know, it's the first Monday of the month. We got to get it made and get it out. I will tell everyone while the slime will have charms, unfortunately this is going to be the first month where we don't have a Shira made charm because her machine lit on fire and the company hasn't replaced it yet, so she can't make charms right now, which is a huge bummer. It literally lit on fire. That's not a joke, I'm not exaggerating. So although we love Shira charms, we are on pause with Shira charms because I cannot, fire. I cannot force her to do something that she cannot physically. It is terrifying, I agree. When she sent me a picture of it, I was like, I'm sorry, what? So obviously I got replacement charms from elsewhere for this month, and she and her house are fine. Just the machine was on fire. Yeah. And we've been like poking the company to fix it for like 2 weeks now, and they're like, oh, we'll send you parts or whatever. And it's like, okay, but like Shira and her husband aren't machine technicians. Like, how are they supposed to fix the machine if you just send the parts? Like, this is a really high-tech giant machine. It's like bigger than this chair that I'm sitting in right now, you know what I mean? So I don't understand how they're even doing that. I told her, I was like, you should tell them if they don't fix it. I know, yeah, fires are, it's definitely not normal. And she was using the machine according to the guidelines and everything was on the up and up. So they need to replace it, in my opinion, because that is not a cheap machine. It's a very expensive machine, and it shouldn't be lighting on fire in your house being used normally. That's just my personal opinion. So we're working on that, and we'll get back to having those charms when we can. But for now, we're gonna have replacement charms, and I think everyone's gonna be okay with that because there was a fire. Yeah, it should definitely not light on fire. The fire melted the whole top. It's crazy. It's crazy looking. I saw it. I was like, wild. She got up, went to the bathroom, and when she came back, it was on fire. Just like, poof, out of nowhere. Just cutting charms like she does every month. Totally normal time. Bizarre. Anyway, so that's the update. You don't know what he's yelling about, but it's probably dinosaurs. I mean, the truth of the matter is almost everything that I got from my nephew for Christmas is dinosaur related. Yes, it's a great thing that she's okay and literally nothing else caught on fire, thank goodness. They were able to put it out before it even engulfed the whole machine, but still, right? I mean, like, still bad. But yes, my nephew is not yet 2, so pretty much everything I got for him this year is dinosaur related, because he just wanders around and roars like a dinosaur nonstop. That's all he does. He just goes, roar! And I'm like, okay, dinosaur toys for this boy then. So that's what I got him, yes. I also got him Magnetiles, because Magnetiles are perfect for a 2-year-old, you know. All right, so today we are reading chapter 16 of How My Neighbor Stole Christmas. And let's get into it. Dare I say, a not-so-fake romance is in the biting air. You caught that kiss, you saw that longing stare. Lips were locked, and they both felt it all the way to their toes. Now the question is, will they heat up? Nobody knows. Yes, it is a great book. We've been loving it so much. This chapter is from Cole's perspective. This tastes like shit, I say to Max as I toss the piece of fruitcake he cut for me into the trash. Yeah, he scratches his head. I honestly wasn't a fan of it either. All right, then what are we gonna do? I ask. We're an hour away from the competition and we can't seem to bake a decent tasting fruitcake to save our lives. Honestly, I think it might be the jam, Max says. Maybe we skip the jam and go for something more simple, a little bit classic. Maybe we don't need a secret ingredient. Maybe we should just hope that Tanya likes you enough to bypass the horrible tasting lump of a cake we have here. Which, speaking of horrible things, you never told me how that date went. You keep changing the subject when I bring it up. I'm not changing the subject. I'm trying to figure out how to win this competition. I stare down at our ingredients. I know your mom said that these candied cherries are what we need to use, but they have this like waxy taste that's very unappealing. Maybe we just go with real cherries?
Yeah, but real ones have moisture and they can make the cake soggy, Max said. Given the fact that I nearly choked on the dryness of the cake that we just made, maybe it could use some moisture. Maybe, Max says, leaning against my kitchen counter. All right, so let's say we do real cherries, or what if we do maraschino cherries? Hey, there's an idea. Everyone likes those. And nothing screams Christmas like maraschino cherries in a baked good. Very true, I say, gripping Max's shoulder. All right, let's run to the mercantile and grab some cherries, and we'll use the recipe that we found online. The one from allrecipes.com? He asks. Yeah, it seems legit. That's risky, going in with a new recipe that we've never tried before. Max says, look, listen, it can't be worse than what we just made. No offense to your mom, but this was... Max scratches the top of his head. Yeah, it wasn't great. Although, have you ever even had a fruitcake that tasted good? No, never, I answer. Exactly. All right, so then let's pack up our supplies, grab the cherries, and then head over to the school for the competition. Since we need to show our work in front of Tanya and demonstrate how well we can bake, the competition takes place in the K-12 school in the gymnasium, where they have portable convection ovens set up and baking stations ready to go. Yeah, no, same, Jen. Listen, it's pretty good. I get a lot of recipes from there. I bet Shara could make a fruitcake that tastes good. She probably could. Yeah. I want to tell you guys something about fruitcake, but it's a secret, so we have to wait. I'll tell you guys something about fruitcake in like some days. Where was I? We provide the ingredients that are quickly looked over, and then we have 3.5 hours to mix and bake. Max and I have been timing ourselves, and so far we have hit the time limit, but the taste, that's where we've kind of been amiss. I fill up a tote bag while Max does the same, me focusing on the ingredients, him focusing on the tools that we're gonna need. Hey, so, about that date, Max presses me again. I roll my eyes. Dude, there's nothing to talk about, I say. We went out, we were irritated with each other, we put on a show for the townspeople, and then we went our separate ways. Is that really all that happened? He asks with a lift of his brow. Christ. Dude, if you know something, just spit it out and say it. You kissed her. It's a statement. It's not a question. Clearly, he's been participating in the town chatter. And here, I thought he might be better than that. But I guess since I've been avoiding the topic, he had to go somewhere else for the information. Look, I didn't kiss her because I wanted to, I say finally. I kissed her because Martha and May spotted us under the mistletoe, and they made us. And, how was it? Hey, Grace. Unexpected, I think to myself. Soft, effing delicious. A kiss that I can still feel now, a kiss that I wish I could forget. But for the life of me, every time I think about that night, I think about how her lips felt against mine and how they were tentative, but then forceful, and how I parted our mouths. I think about how I wish that I would have pulled her closer in and dug my fingers into her and spent so much more time exploring her rather than pulling away. And of course, all these feelings and thoughts have maddened me because the last thing I want to do is think about Story in that way, especially because the hate is still there. The irritation, the need to challenge her, to beat her in this competition. I don't need thoughts of her mouth on mine weakening my plan of attack. I shrug casually. It was barely even a kiss. Our lips touched, that was it. Seriously, everyone's making a big deal about nothing, I say. Max leans in. Yeah, I heard your eyes slowly opened after. My eyes opened at a reasonable rate? I also heard that you two stared at each other for a while once the kiss broke apart. Describe a while, I ask. I don't know, Max answers. Look, it looks like you were looking into each other's souls or something like that. Max answers. I shake my head. You need to stay out of the gossip. You're starting to sound as starry-eyed as the rest of them. So, are you denying that you looked into her soul? Max asks, completely ignoring me. I prop my hand on the counter and stare down at my best friend. Look, I did not stare into her soul. I barely even looked into her eyes. There was mistletoe. People were watching, and we kissed. Lips barely touched. There was nothing magical about it. More clinical. If you remove the twinkling lights, the music playing in the background, and the cooing onlookers, it was... So, what you're telling me is that the kiss meant nothing to you. It meant absolutely nothing to me, I say, keeping my expression still. And you're not thinking about the kiss a few days later, Max adds. It was forgettable, I say. So the crush you had on her, it didn't ramp it up at all? Jesus Christ, Max, no, I shout, and then I grab my tote bag of ingredients. If I learned one thing from that date, it's that my childhood crush was just that, a childhood crush. There is nothing going on between us, and there isn't any future for anything else. And when I say the date was one and done, I mean it. Hey, Cole, Story says as a greeting as I set our bags on the baking station next to hers. Is her hair different? It does look different. Not that I would notice something like her hair, although if I did, it's not because I stared into her soul or anything like that. It's just like, oh, maybe it's because she's not wearing a winter hat this time. Oh, so that's what her forehead looks like. Nice. No, I mean, no, not nice. I don't care what her forehead looks like. It's just a forehead. There's nothing nice about it. It's bland. It's boring. I can see your forehead, I say in greeting. What do you mean you can see my forehead? She says, her hand covering it. Yeah, what do you mean, Cole? I think to myself. It's there, your forehead. I point to her forehead. Yes, she says. People do usually have foreheads. Okay, well, good on you for growing it then, I say with my nod and then turn to my ingredients, feeling my cheeks flame with embarrassment. She leans in closer to me. If this is your way of getting under my skin to fake me out and mess with my head, it's not gonna work. So you can take your forehead talk somewhere else. Yup, whatever you say, I reply, keeping my head down, nodding, not wanting her to spot the red on my cheeks. She grumbles something under her breath and then goes back to setting up her station. Max is filling out our ingredient form with Tanya, letting her know everything that's involved in our fruitcake while I attempt to settle my racing heart. Why is my heart racing, you might ask? Don't think it's from seeing Story, because that's not the case at all. I'm nervous about the competition, and the last minute item that Max grabbed was pineapple, and he said it needed an addition while we were at the Mercantile. And I told him, you know what? Pineapple's not in the recipe, and he said he'd seen it in other recipes and that it was the ingredient that we were missing. And I think the only thing that we're missing, honestly, is common sense in baking. Yeah, so nice try. But these nerves, they have nothing to do with Story. And I'll have you know, Story says, coming out of nowhere and invading my station, I have an unbeatable fruitcake recipe. Aunt Cindy took first place last year, and we're replicating the same recipe. Great, I think. Just what I need to hear, especially when we just tossed pineapple into the mix. But not wanting to show an ounce of fear, I turn toward her and say, yeah, well, does your fruitcake have pineapple in it? It does, she replies with a lift of her chin. Huh, okay. Maybe this won't be so bad after all, then. Dates? If your fruitcake doesn't have dates, then it's not a fruitcake, she counters. What about walnuts? Face it, Cole, we have a good recipe, and you know it, and you're trying to throw me off with all your weird forehead talk. Yep, that's exactly what I was trying to do. I wasn't fumbling around thinking about the kiss we shared or how pretty she looks today or the fact that the feelings I've tried to repress for a long time are miraculously starting to show up out of the goddamn blue. No, it was a kiss, D-head. Get the F over it. Well, it's not going to work, so why don't you worry about yourself and focus on not making Tanya gag rather than coming up with some stupid way to distract me. Yep, well, you got me. I shrug. I guess I should leave your forehead alone. Yeah, it's best you do. She taps on my work table. Wishing you the worst of luck. I hope you burn everything out of your fruitcake. I grip my chest. Whoa, the way you flirt, it really cuts me deep. Hey, did I hear flirting over here? Tanya says as she walks up to us, a huge smile on her face. Nope, try not to, I say. But when she shows up to the competition looking beautiful, I just can't hold back. I let out a sigh and tilt my head toward Tanya. Tanya, I think she's trying to distract me, so excuse me if my fruitcake is just a little off today. I'm going to be fighting an inner war between paying attention to what I'm doing and trying to catch a glimpse of her. Tanya gleefully looks between us. Oh, well, after I heard about the kiss, I know what I am dealing with, so don't you worry. She winks in my direction. I will take your crush into consideration. I press my hands together. Thank you, Tanya. Now, I gotta get my head in the game. Oh, just one more hug. I push off my workstation and walk over to a very annoyed Story, and I pull her into a tight embrace, and just for added measure, I kiss the top of her head and say, "Good luck, babe." "Babe?" Tanya squeals. "Oh, I just can't take it." She waves her hand in front of her face. "I need to tell Martha and May about this." And she hurries off, pulling her phone out of her pocket as she moves toward the back corner of the gym. Story pushes away from me, a look of disgust on her face. "Babe?" I thought it was a nice touch. I smirk. "If you get anything higher than third place in this fruitcake festivus, the entire system is rigged." "Hey, why do you say that? You haven't even tasted my fruitcake." "I don't need to taste it to know that it's going to be terrible. I smelled the burning cake over the fence when you were apparently practicing." "Hey, no. That was on Max and him setting up the timer wrong. That had nothing to do with our recipe. Also, we may have overfilled a pan that was far too small, and the batter was dripping over the sides as we pushed down the toppings, but she doesn't really need to know about that part either." "Okay, well, either way, you've rigged this competition by playing with Tanya's romantic heart, and you should be eliminated for as such." Says the person whose aunt is being rolled around in a wheelchair right now, looking rather paler than she was the other night. Story glances over her shoulder, catching sight of Cindy and Tehran approaching, and when she turns back around, she whispers, "How dare you? This could be her last Christmas." "Bull," I say. "Cindy has many more Christmases left in here, so don't be throwing rocks at glass houses, Story. If you're not going to play fair, neither am I, so good luck, babe." I wink, which causes her to huff, spin on her heels, and back to her workstation. Her workstation, which is, of course, right next to mine. "Kind of wishing you had a door to slam to separate us, aren't you?" I ask. "No, because with the way you've been working, you would probably hang mistletoe from the door frame." "Ah, still thinking about that kiss?" I tisk at her. "I knew you would. I could tell from the hungry look in your eyes when we parted. And if you want another one, you can just ask." "Oh," defiantly she replies, "You know, I really hope you burn your fingers today. Oh, and I hope you use salt instead of sugar. Yeah, well, here's to tripping with your fruitcake in your hand, and cheers to you sprinkling your hair in the batter." Her anger spikes and she leans over the table and whispers, "I hate you. The feeling is mutual, babe." Story's perspective. "You look worried," I say to Cole. He's standing next to me waiting to be judged by Tanya, who is currently taking a bite out of Jimmy's burnt monstrosity. Just based on what it looks like, I will be shocked if Jimmy doesn't get last place. Nope, I am not worried," Cole says as he rocks on his heels next to me. "Confident. You're the one who should be worried. Who puts mashed potatoes in their fruitcake?" The winner from last year does," I say, still smirking over the look on Cole's face when we pulled out the mashed potatoes. It was an epic showdown of culinary skills, all 5 contestants in the kitchen attempting to make the perfect fruitcake that people actually love to eat. And from what I could see, Ursula went in with candied everything. Dates, walnuts, fruit. I fear that she's going to give someone a cavity with her fruitcake, which resembles more of a candy bar than actual cake. Jimmy, well, we know where he went wrong. Dr. Pedigree went a more organic approach with all fresh ingredients, which could lack flavor but help with density, so I don't know, we'll see what's going on there. And then there were Cole and Atlas, who were running around their kitchen space sniping at one another, trying to figure out how much pineapple was too much pineapple. If I wasn't so focused on what I was doing, I might have sat back and enjoyed the show, because from what I could hear, it was absolutely hilarious. I think at one point I heard Cole mutter to Atlas to stop being a little bitch about the pineapple, but I honestly can't be too sure. "Story, please bring your fruitcake forward to the judging table," Tanya says, muttering so only I can hear him. Cole says, "Don't trip," and then tacks on, "Hey, good luck, babe." Such an idiot. For good measure, I walk over to Aunt Cindy, in her wheelchair, and give her a kiss, and then carry the fruitcake to Tanya. I know it's good. I know we have a pretty solid chance at first place. I don't have the slightest bit of worry inside me. I set the plate in front of Tanya, and then I take a step back. This is Cindy's recipe, with mashed potatoes and all. Tanya smiles, maybe a dash of romance. "I saw you sneaking a peek at your man." I hold back the eye roll and nod. "Oh, of course." with a dash of romance, I say. Oh, I love it, Tanya adds, and she cuts a piece for herself and examines the loaf, the slice, the density. She sniffs it, she rotates the cake, and when she finally takes a bite, she lets it sit on her tongue for a few seconds before she starts to chew. The only tell of her enjoying it being just a nod of her head and the fact that she went in for seconds. She did not go in for seconds on Jimmy's. I don't think she even wanted to try his. But after a few moments of chewing, she swallows, she picks up her pen, she marks a few things on a folder that she's hidden from view, and then she smiles up at me. Nicely done, Story. Thank you, I say, and then I take my fruitcake back to my station. I can feel Cole's eyes on me, but I don't give him the time of day as pride flits through me. Cole, I would love to taste your fruitcake now, Tanya says. Love to taste. Wow, favoritism much? I swear, if he beats me on this one, I am going to be livid. But Cole brings his fruitcake over to Tanya, and despite my mind telling me to focus on anything but his ass, my eyes are taken into his tight rear, and that's encased really nicely in the jeans that he's worn. This is my take on fruitcake, made with maraschino cherries, not candied ones, as well as pineapples, dates, and walnuts. Oh, it looks great, Tanya practically coos as she slices into it. Wow, what a great cut! What a great cut? Is this a piece of steak or a cake? Seriously, Tanya. Sure, he's a handsome man who apparently knows how to work the crowd to his advantage, but can she not see through his antics? In disgust, I watch Tanya eat his fruitcake, taking 3 bites and chatting him up the entire time. What happened to him being a grumpy D-bag? How is he so friendly all of a sudden? How can he be grunting out a response one day and the next day be the chattiest guy in town? After what feels like forever, Tanya thanks him and he carries his fruitcake back to the table. I will be tasting that thing and comparing it to mine. I will have the final say on all of this, even if I don't get to have the final decision. Tanya goes through her notebook, tallying up the points and assessing who she wants to assign places to while I wait with bated breath to see who won. Whatever happens, I still want to go on that second date, Cole says next to me like the jackass that he is. Maybe you can make some fruitcake for it. I will be making you nothing. I fold my hands in front of me, trying to look like I'm the happiest person in the room, despite the irritation pulsing through me. Ah, and here I thought we could have a cozy evening together. I'm invoking the no talking rule, I say. On the date? Well, if we don't talk, there's only one other thing we can do. I turn to him and catch the wiggle of his eyebrows. Are you a child? For the sake of dating you, I sure as hell hope not. Oh my God, you are so irritating, I whisper just for him to put his arm around me again and bring me in close to his chest and say, I know. Tanya takes that moment to look up and catches us close together. Her smile grows even larger as she finishes up her notes. I swear, if you win this, I am going to throw a temper tantrum. I very well might toss my mixing bowl right at your head. At me? He asks quietly. But then how could I make you weak in the knees with my kisses if I'm unconscious? You did not make me weak in the knees? I shoot back. Oh, I felt you waver. There was no wavering. A little bit, because I steadied you. Are you freaking delusional? I say as Tanya stands and walks to the front of her desk. Bob Krampus joins her and the room quiets down as Bob takes the results from Tanya. He clears his throat and looks through his spectacles and then out to the crowd. It seems as though we have a verdict. Coming in 5th place, we have Jimmy Short. No surprise there. His fruitcake belongs in the compost bin. The crowd lightly cheers as Jimmy kicks the ground, clearly disappointed in himself. In 4th place, we have... Bob pauses as he attempts to read the card, confused. He confers with Tanya, who says, Sorry about that. In 4th place, we have Ursula. Damn it. I wish Cole had been in 4th place, but what can I honestly do about that? Ursula gave Tanya a brick of candy. And in 3rd place, Bob continues, our love of the week, Cole. A large grin stretches across my face as I turn back toward him and I give him a gentle pat on the back, looking like every toting crush. He smiles at me and brings his attention back to Bob. Either he's a particularly good actor or he agrees with his placement. Either way, if we can pull ahead with a win on this, it will give us a significant lead. And our runner-up is... Bob pauses for dramatic effect. Dr. Pettigrew giving the win for the second year in a row to Team Cindy. Now, if I wasn't being judged on my Christmas spirit, this is what I would do with the news. I would do a set of 3 cartwheels and yell yippee into the air and finish right in front of Cole and then shimmy so hard that my boobs would pop right out of my bra, but I wouldn't care because I'd have won. I beat him and his pineapple debacle and his stupid forehead distraction. But since I'm being watched very carefully, I smile, I clap a little, and I offer congratulations to the rest of the group and then walk over to Aunt Cindy and give her a hug because we took this one. I knew we would. It was the mashed potatoes. Well done, everyone. Well done, everyone. We have some new leadership in the overall competition, though, Bob says. In first place, our winner for today is Story with 43 points. I am so proud of you, Aunt Cindy says, pulling me into a hug again. And it serves them right for trying to mess with us. I chuckle and I lift up from her. In second place, we have Cole and his holly jolly sidekick Atlas with 37 points. The boys give each other pats on the back, and are they waving to the crowd? Good God. In third place, we have Ursula with 34 points, following with a tie at 23 points between Jimmy and Beatrice. Bob removes his spectacles and continues. Nothing is set in stone, though, and the rankings can change with one single competition. With our coveted candy cane making competition yet, I feel that the tides will turn. So good luck to you, Kringlies, and ho, 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 Merry Christmas. The crowd offers a Merry Christmas as well and then starts dispersing. I take that moment to turn to Cole, a smile on my face. Oh, hey, how's the view from second place? Not bad, he says, pulling his teeth over his lip. Ew, don't be a pervert, I say, pushing at his shoulder. Hey, look, you're the one who asked. Yeah, and I wasn't talking about my backside. Shame. Stop that, I say, getting closer. Stop the fake flirting. Why? Are you getting confused? He asks. No, but you're annoying me. I liked you better when you were a grump. This act you're putting on, frankly, it's inappropriate. Inappropriate? He asks with a raised brow. Yes, you are. Wonderful fruitcakes, Tanya says, coming up to us. Story, how could I not pick Cindy's for first? It's easily the best I've ever tasted, and you executed it so brilliantly. Switching from irritated to happy within the blink of an eye, I say, oh, thank you, Tanya. That means a lot to both of us. I know how hard Aunt Cindy worked on that recipe, and I'm so glad that I could bring it to life. You did a wonderful job. Tanya then turns to Cole with a warm smile. Cole, I was shocked with yours. Honestly, I expected a Jimmy-type fruitcake from you two, and that's not what I got at all. I think the only thing that lowered you a point or two was that there honestly was a lot of pineapple in there, which took a lot more tropical direction than a Christmas. But I will say this, if I was served your fruitcake while celebrating Christmas in Hawaii, I'd be absolutely tickled by it. Well, thank you, Tanya, and thanks for the note. We'll have to go back to the drawing board and refine our cake just a little. She pats him on the shoulder. Great showing, though, for it being your first time with a change in the recipe. Oh, I do have to admit, I was grateful you didn't make me eat Atlas's mom's recipe. She thinks jam makes it good, but she couldn't be more wrong. Cole smirks. Yeah, honestly, I told her the same thing. You naughty boy. Tanya laughs, and then she waves. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. You too, I say as Tanya takes off. Cole turns to Atlas. I effing told you it was too much pineapple. Atlas, with his hands in his pockets, nods. Yep, you were right, dear. Sorry, I needed a sip of my coffee. Chapter 17. And just like that, the tables have turned. Thanks to mashed potatoes, a first place she earned. But the wind seems to be changing. Is romance really in the air? In love and Christmas competitions, is all really fair? Could his crush blossom to something that's so much more? Could true love develop in the town's candy store? Story. You're kidding, right? I say as I look at the window of snow falling to the ground. I am not driving in that. Honestly, you don't really have a choice. Tehran says. This is the only class offered before the competition, and you really have to take it. It's an hour drive away, I say, and if you haven't noticed, it's snowing. Oh, the roads will be cleared, dear, Aunt Cindy says. They always take care of the roads here. No need to worry, dearie. But it's snowing. I don't drive in the snow. I don't even know what I'm doing. You just stay on the road, Tehran says, being unhelpful as she maps out more lights on a chart of the house that she's created. You're seriously okay with me driving your car all the way through a snowstorm an hour away to Clayton to take a candy cane making lesson from a guy named Theodore Garvey? I ask. Tehran sighs and brings her attention to me. Honestly, yes, I am. I can't take you because I have to take care of Aunt Cindy, and Aunt Cindy needs to do her physical therapy, so I suggest you put on your big girl panties and you get dressed and you start driving. Irritated with my sister, I retreat to my room and shut the door. This is ridiculous. Can't I just watch like a YouTube video or something? Wouldn't that be safer than driving in the snow? I mean, if you're a seasoned snow driver, you could know the tactics to stay on the road, but honestly, this is terrifying. Don't they care about my safety at all? I glance out the window and catch the white flakes floating down from the sky, down to the ground. Sure, it's not a heavy snow, but it is enough to make me worry, to make me sweat, to create this prickling feeling going up the back of my neck and letting me know that this might not be a good idea. I know Tehran won't let me stay home though, so I grab a pair of leggings, a warm sweater, fuzzy socks, along with undergarments, and bring them into the bathroom where I take a quick shower, leaving my hair up since honestly I washed it yesterday. Once out of the shower, I wipe my hands across the fogged up mirror and I reveal my reflection. I look at myself and I say, you can do this. You can drive in the snow. It's for the competition. Do you really want Cole to win? No, I say to myself. He will not win. You are going to drive to Clayton. You will be fine and you will learn how to make candy canes. Done and done. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I chant, my hands clutching the steering wheel in death grip. I've turned off my music. My eyes are as wide as they can be. And despite the attempt to have x-ray vision, I cannot see through the snow that has picked up since I left Aunt Cindy's house. Where are the lines on the road? I shout as my emotions get the best of me and my eyes start to well up with tears. No. Don't cry. That's not going to help you see better. I wipe at my eyes and slow the car down to 5 miles per hour. I turn on my hazard lights, praying that I don't fall down into a ditch. Jen, did they copy you driving in the snow? That's very funny. Maybe if I just pull off to the side for a second and I let the heavy snow pass, everything will be okay. I swipe at my eyes, very careful to find the shoulder of the road, and I pull off to the side. See? No, everything's gonna be fine. I'll just wait. The car bumps and then jolts downward. I scream bloody murder, terrified that I've fallen into a ditch. This is my death! I scream, waiting for the car to keep falling, but it doesn't. I open my eyes and I glance out the window, and to the right of me I see a guardrail. Thank God for that, because at least I won't be falling into any sort of mountain death trap. But I look up ahead and I see a sign that says Lookout Point. Oh, there must be a bigger parking spot up there. So I pull forward and I rest there. I press on the gas, but the car doesn't move. I nervously chuckle. Okay, well, let me just press a little harder. Nothing. No. I flip my hood over my head and I put the car in park, and then I open my door only to be blasted by Father Snow. Mother of God, I say as I make my way to the back tires to examine what's going on. I can barely see with the snow pelting me in the face, but when I reach the tires, I see that one of them has fallen victim to a decently sized pothole, and I realize, oh, I'm effed. Quickly, I make my way back to the car and settle into my seat before grabbing my phone. And would you guess it? Not a bar of reception, because we're in the frickin' mountains. I press my hand against the steering wheel, tears welling up in my eyes. This is my worst nightmare come true. Deserted, alone in a winter storm with no cell service. This is exactly why I didn't want to drive to Ron. Tears are streaming down my face as I try to figure out what to do. I have no idea where I am in proximity to any town. I can't see a freaking thing. And the last thing that I want to do is stand outside and wait for someone to come rescue me, because who in their right mind even drives in this snow? No one. No one would be driving in this weather. Only idiots like me from California who are convinced to knock, knock, knock. I nearly jump out of my skin as I turn to the side and I spot a figure standing outside of my car door. I'm so relieved that there is another human in the area that I don't even consider that it could possibly be a murderer. I roll down my window, the wind and the snow whipping into my car as the stranger lowers their head. And that's when I see him. Those memorable eyes, that curved jawline, those lips. Cole? I say, wiping at my eyes, honestly too relieved to even care that it's him. Are you having some car trouble? I nod, and I can't help it. More tears stream down my face. Yeah, I say right before a sob escapes my lips. Ah, shit, he mutters and then opens my car door. Come on, grab your bag, he says as he helps me out of the car. I grab my things and stand next to the car as he hops in, rolls up the window, and puts on the emergency brake. And then he turns off the engine. He pockets the keys, shuts the door, and takes me by the elbow and escorts me to his truck that's parked a few feet in front of mine. I must have been so upset that I didn't even notice him pull in. He brings me to the passenger side of his truck, opens the door before helping me in, and when I'm in the warm confines of his truck, he shuts the door, and that's when I attempt to wipe at my eyes, but honestly it's no use because the tears are just coming at this point. When he joins me, he turns the heat on full blast and then reaches in his glove box and hands me some tissues. Thank you, I say as I blot at my face, knowing damn well any makeup I put on is probably smeared all over at this point. How long were you stuck there? He asks, his voice terse, almost angry. Not long. You were maybe a minute behind me. All right, good. Are you okay? He asks. I look up and see the concern in his eyes, the worry etched in his brow. It honestly casts him in a different light. It makes me remember the boy I used to talk to on his porch while we were drinking hot cocoa. This isn't the man that I've been sparring with. This is the boy I used to talk to every Christmas. Even when I was far away in a warmer environment, I often wondered about my blue-eyed friend. The girls at school used to be jealous when I came back from holidays talking about him, and I missed him. I truly missed him. Yeah, I'm okay, I say as more tears stream down my cheeks. I'm sorry. And then to my surprise, he scoots across the bench and pulls me close to his chest, and I go willingly and rest my head against him as he cups the back of my head. You shouldn't be driving in the snow, he says softly as he sifts his fingers through my hair. I know, that's what I told Tehran, but the candy cane classes today, so she made me go, I sniffle. Is that where you're headed to? Mm-hmm, he says tersely. You should have just asked me for a ride, Story. I pull back so I can look him in the eyes. I should have asked you? After all the fighting we've been doing, would you have even said yes? I would have, he says. Competition is one thing, safety is another. I don't want you getting hurt. You don't? I ask. His hand comes to my cheek where he wipes away a freshly fallen tear. No, I don't. Oh, I reply, not sure what else to say. And after a few seconds of us just staring at each other, he says, do you want me to take you back home? Yes, I think, but also no. You're headed to Clayton? I am, he replies, and he strokes at my hair, tucking a strand behind my ear. I know shit about candy canes. That makes me laugh, and I blot at my eyes with the same tissue. Same. Would you mind taking me to the candy cane class? As long as you don't annoy me along the way. I smirk a little. I can't make any promises. He chuckles. He actually chuckles, and then he pulls away just enough to get a look at me. Are you good? Yeah, I nod. Thank you. You're welcome. And then when I think he's going to move back to his side of the truck, he stays where he is, his hand moving into mine. And when our eyes connect, he said, you sure you don't want to go back home? Because I honestly don't mind driving you. No. I need to take that lesson. I can't have you beating me. Yeah, okay, can't have that, he says absentmindedly. There he is. There's the nice boy I once knew. No malice, no snark, just personable and good-natured. He studies me for a few more moments before he finally retreats to his side of the truck. When we get to Clayton, wrong voice. When we get to Clayton, I'll let Max know about your car and we'll have someone arrange to take care of it. Oh, that's okay. I can call somebody. Yeah, and who are you gonna call? He asks as he takes off his jacket. Someone? Yeah, nice try. And then he offers me his jacket. I know you get cold, so would you like this for your legs? I roll my teeth over the corner of my lip. You don't need it? Nah, I'm good. Okay, sure, I'll take it. He hands it to me and I drape it over my chilled legs, grateful for the extra layer, and I glance over at him. You're being really nice to me. I'm not actually a dick, you know. Then why do you always act like one? He puts his car into drive. Defense mechanism, I guess. From what? I ask, and he glances in my direction, then focuses back on the road. Nothing. Why don't I believe you? I ask. You can probably see right through me, and that scares me, hence why I said nothing. Wow, okay, so he's being really open and honest right now. This is such a stark contrast from the man that I saw the other day at Fruitcake Festivus, so what's changed? That's a really heavy statement, I say, and he shrugs. Clearly, if I push him too far, he might shut down, so I decide to just leave it at that. I like this side of him, this open, warm side, and I don't want to lose that, so I just change the subject. The snow is pretty heavy, I say. Are you sure you're okay driving in it? I grew up here, Story. What do you think? I'll take that as a yes, I say, but don't you ever get scared? Look, if you allow fear to take over your actions, then you're never going to accomplish anything. You say that as if you have experience in the matter. Oh, maybe I do, he says, his eyes focused on the road. Perhaps you tell me what kind of experience it is and give you insight into the competition? He says playfully. Nah, I think I'll pass. It doesn't seem very strategic to save your competition from a snowstorm. As a matter of fact, it is, he says. If I left you here to freeze to death, then it wouldn't be a competition at all. I'm not going to win because of a forfeit. I want to win the challenge. Ah, okay, I see. So saving me back there was a selfish move. And he glances over at me for a split second. Yeah, probably in more ways than one. Cole. What the F are you doing, Cole? I think to myself. It's a question I keep repeating over and over again as I glance over at Story, checking for the 100th time that she's okay. When I saw her car pull off to the side, I felt my entire being go hot with fear. I knew immediately that it had to be her. I'd seen that car parked in the driveway next door, and I knew that it was headed in the same direction as me, so it had to be her. And when I saw her tear-stained face, well, F. It just made all the animosity, the pent-up anger, and everything I had go away, and all I wanted to do was help. To protect, to make sure that she wasn't scared, to make sure she was okay. I went into helper mode, and when she continued to cry in my truck, visibly shaking, she broke down another wall that I had erected between the two of us, and before I knew it, I was holding her, stroking her hair, wanting to remove all the fear that was taking over her body, because I know that fear. I feel it every time I drive in the snow, because it's the way my parents died, driving in a snowstorm. Nearly 10 years ago, I got that phone call telling me what happened, and it altered my life forever. And it's times like these that I wish I'd been with my parents and that I hadn't been left alone. The fear is so strong, so prevalent during the winter that I make sure to drive in the snow, and I make sure to practice, and I make sure I don't allow the fear to turn me into a catatonic, because that is what it would do if I allowed it to. So when I woke up this morning and I saw that it was snowing, I didn't even think twice about driving to Clayton. If only I checked in on Story first to see if she was going. Selfishly, I didn't even consider her. I was so focused on myself, focused on conquering that fear once again that always pricks at the back of my neck when I travel in the show. I should have asked. Hey, look, I'm sorry, I say before I can stop myself. Sorry for what? She asks, sounding confused as she blots at her tears. For not checking on you before I left to seeing if you needed a ride today. Oh, why would you do that? Because it would be the right thing to do, I say as I look into her eyes. She glances away, staring down at her lap. You don't need to apologize, Cole. I do. I really should have checked, and that was really shitty of me. Cole, she says, a note of trepidation in her voice. You owe me nothing. I mean, it's not like we're friends, right? Yeah, I guess we're not, I think. I look out towards the snow, pelting my windshield, the wetter flakes dragging streaks of water across the glass and collecting on my wipers. Right, Cole? She says again, almost sounding unsure. We're not friends? I bring my attention back to her. We were a while back. Her lips press together as she slowly nods. Yeah, we were. I miss that side of us. I swallow the lump in my throat and I nod. Yeah, me too. And then because the mood seems to be tense, I say, you know, we do have a good rapport going on in town. Everyone seems to think that we get along just fine, so maybe we're friends and we just don't know it yet. I glance at her and I catch the way the corner of her lips tilt up, joining me in lightening the mood. I mean, it is friendly of you to stop by my car on the side of the road and check on me. That was awfully kind of me, I reply with a grin. So are you trying to tell me that it's possible? So are you trying to tell me it's possible that we might actually be friends? I shrug a little. Isn't that what they say? The enemy of my enemy is my friend, something like that. Yeah, but there needs to be a third person involved for that to be true. So if both of us are enemies, so with Atlas, then I guess we could be friends. I see. Then perhaps the candy canes will be our enemy for today, which would then make us friends. From what I've heard about candy cane making, I have a feeling that could actually be true. She replies, relaxing into her seat. Oops. I have to prove I'm a human. It doesn't like when you don't prove you're a human. And she crosses one leg over the other. Are you warm? I ask. She nods. Yeah, you could probably turn down the heat. I'm sure you're hot right now. Yeah, I'm about to sweat out of my flannel, I say as I turn down the dial, and she chuckles a little. You know, you can be kind of funny when you allow it. You remind me of our conversations when we were younger. So you do remember me, I say. Here I thought I was Connor to you. That was a stupid joke and it didn't quite hit the way that I thought it would. And then of course I saw how irritated it made you and I just kept going, and honestly, who knows why? Yeah, honestly, reading is definitely not enough proof, which it should be these days. No, not a lot of people can read. Because you're the instigator. I recall you driving your sister crazy when you were younger, and for that matter, me. I say, thankful that the snow is lightening up as we head over the mountain pass. Clayton's not that far away now. Yeah, I still drive her crazy, and apparently you as well. Seems to be a theme with you, I say. I guess once an instigator, always an instigator. She turns slightly toward me. Kate, can I ask you a question? Depends, I say as I switch on my radio, letting the Christmas instrumentals lightly play back in the background. Oh, don't worry, Liz, I'll upload it shortly. I feel like I'm transported back 10 years ago when conversation flowed easily with her. Depends on what? She asks. If I want to answer the question or not, I have the right to veto a question. Oh, I guess that's fair. She shifts so she's fully turned toward me and I can feel her eyes on me, and it takes everything in me not to look in her direction because I know if I do, I'll want to look for a beat longer. When I first came into town, why were you so upset with me? Like, did I do something wrong, or was it because my family hadn't visited in 10 years, or was it because you saw how sad Aunt Cindy was? No, none of that, I say, my throat growing tight. I'm not really sure I want to have this conversation. Okay, then, well, what was it? My grip on the steering wheel grows tighter as the snow breaks and only flurries fall over us. The worst of the storm is behind us, and its wake evident in the powder on the trees on the mountainside that surrounds us. Seriously, Cole, like, what did I do? You know, I don't think this is the sort of conversation we should be having right now. Why not? She asks. Because it's probably something that I should tell you when I look you in the eye. Oh, she says. Well then, pull over. Pull over? I ask. We don't want to be late. We won't. Pull over, Cole. Knowing she's not going to let this go, I do as she said, and I put my hazard lights on, even though there's probably no one driving right now. When I put the truck in park, she tugs my hand and forces me to look at her. Talk to me, Cole, because I don't like this. This like animosity between us, honestly, it's tiring. The constant fighting, the battling, the fake facade. Honestly, I'm overwhelmed, and I can see that warm side of you coming out, and it's the side I used to know. She presses her palm to mine and entwines our fingers before I look her in the eye. Crystal clear, not a hint of treachery in them, like she's waiting to strike when I open up, ready to take me down. No, there's general care, concern, and it breaks me because it's been lonely during this time of year, and it's my doing. I've secluded myself. I've neglected to participate in activities with the town. I've been hiding in a hole, only coming out of Christmas to spend a few days with the Maxheimers. I've actually been surprised that I have received a million side eyes from the townsfolk. They must be shocked at the abrupt change in my personality, and yet they welcomed me back. But seeing Story here again is reminding me of all those Christmases when we'd build snowmen in our front yard, and we'd walk around town, never holding hands, but obviously enjoying each other's company while looking at the lights, and she'd be freezing and I'd offer her my jacket, and she'd ask questions about what it's like to live in a secluded kitschy town, and I'd reciprocate by asking her what it's like to have a beach all the time. And in a weird way, I've associated Story with Christmas. Whenever I saw her family pull up in the driveway, it felt like the season really started. And well, after my parents died, she didn't come to visit anymore, and it darkened the season for me, to the point that I didn't celebrate anymore. I couldn't, because there was no joy left for me to celebrate. Please, Cole, she says, squeezing my hand. Tell me what I did. I wet my lips a little and leaned back against the door. It was that last Christmas that you were here. The Christmas where I knocked Mrs. Fiskars into the river? She asked. Yeah, that Christmas. That was such a horrible Christmas for me. I was in such a foul mood, and if I said anything mean or stupid, I'm really sorry. I was embarrassed. I was mad. I was confused about what I wanted to do with my life, and well, I didn't have the best Christmas that year, and I ended up leaving Christmas Day because it was over, and Tehran took me to the airport, and what did I even say? I glance out the windshield, feeling that pain coming back, because I remember looking for her the next day, despite everything she said, hoping to find her, to talk to her, to get my mind off the pain I was feeling, but she wasn't there. She had left. Cole, she presses, and I try to release her hand, but she doesn't let me. Please, tell me. I let out a sigh and then she'd go for it. That Christmas Eve when you were talking to me on the porch, you said you hated the town. Oh, she said, and her head shakes. I mean, it didn't mean that. It was just, and that's when my parents went missing. Wait, what? She said, sitting up a little taller. I was out on the porch hoping to run into you because I was scared. I was really nervous. I couldn't find my parents after the big snowstorm, and they were supposed to come back that day, but no one had heard from them. And when I saw you, I was relieved, but then, oh my God, she whispered as tears filled her eyes again. I went off about the town and how it was so stupid and how I didn't understand why anyone would want to spend day in and day out celebrating Christmas. Yeah, I say lightly. Cole, tears fall down her cheek. Oh my God, why didn't you just say something? I was numb. I answer. I didn't want to fight with you. I didn't even want to defend the town that was trying to help me find my parents. I just slipped into another frame of mind. I wet my lips again. And then the next day when I wanted to tell you what happened, you weren't there, you'd left, and I don't know. I took that as your goodbye. You were done with Kringle, and you were done with me. No, she shakes her head. No, look, I'm sorry. Oh my God, I am so selfish, and I am so stupid. I am really sorry, Cole. I shrug. It was 10 years ago. When I saw you come back in town, it just brought back all that animosity that I was feeling. And then when I heard that you were going to try to become the Christmas Kingle, I thought, how dare she? And well, you know, the rest of that's history. She scoots a little closer on the bench and brings my hand close to her chest. Look, I am sorry. I should have been there for you. I should have asked what was wrong. I was so caught up in myself. I neglected to think about you, and then, God, not coming back. You must actually hate me. Look, I don't hate you, I say. Not even close, Story, I think. Not even a little bit. Cole, I'm really sure you do. I don't, I say with conviction. I really don't, Story. She presses her lips together. Well, you probably should. She glances down at her lap and lets out a sigh. I'm just so deeply sorry. I should have been there for you and I wasn't, and I can't imagine what that's been like, how lonely you must have been. I mean, I don't see my parents much these days. They have their own adventure life now, but if I wanted to, well, I could see them. She pauses and I can see how deeply she's grieving for me. Her presence is somewhat soothing at this moment, but then she looks up. God, I didn't even know. I'm wrecked that I didn't know, because what you were going through, Look, I made Cindy promise not to tell you. Her eyes shoot up to mine. You did? Why? Because I was angry with you at the time. I didn't want your sympathy. I just wanted to deal with my own new reality. Plus, I knew that you were headed off to college, and with you leaving on Christmas Day like that, starting your new journey, you were done with Kringle, and I just needed to accept that. I would have come back if I had known. Yeah, and that's exactly why I made her promise. You weren't in this town, this life, and I didn't want your pity. It was just meant to be that way. I dragged my hand over my face, and when you came back, honestly, I treated you like shit, and I'm sorry. I was surprised. I didn't know how to handle my feelings, and I acted childish, and honestly, I am sorry, Story. She shakes her head. No, don't be. You had every right to act the way that you did. Losing my parents doesn't give me the privilege to be an asshole. How about this? We're both sorry for separate reasons, and we both accept each other's apologies. She squeezes my hand and makes me smile. We can move on from this, Cole, because we don't need to live in the past of apologies. It's not going to do anything but make us go around in circles. Yeah, you're right, I say, clearing my throat. Yeah. So let's accept what we've said and move forward from here. Yeah, I think I can get on board with that. Good. She glances out the window and back at me. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not going to take it easy on you. You're still going down, Snow Daddy. My brow shoots up and chuckles. Atlas told me about his nickname for you. I was just waiting to use it. Honestly, it has a nice ring to it if you ask me. Yeah, well, that's a Max only nickname. Nope, I don't know about that. She releases my hand. I'm kind of partial to it. I shake my head and put the truck in drive. Hey, Cole. I glance over at her. Thank you for telling me. No, thank you, Story, for coming back and for caring and helping me, I think. But instead I just say, yeah, thanks for listening, Story. Oh, you ordered the Wicked Procs? Which one, Naisa? Sorry, that was the end of the segment, so it was an okay time to answer. This next segment is from Story's perspective. So, this place looks exactly like Chadwick's candy shop, I say quietly to Cole. Yeah, it's a sore subject for them. I don't get it, I say as we wait for Theodore Garvey to bring out the ingredients from the back of the kitchen. Why would Mr. Chadwick send us here for a lesson when clearly Theodore is stealing all his ideas? I think it's many things. 1, Jefferson doesn't want to have to deal with us. 2, people can see how Theodore's a ripoff. And 3, if we fail, Jefferson has a reason to hate Theodore. Oh, makes sense, I guess. Since Cole and I showed up together, they put us in a group. Jimmy and Ursula are in a group as well, and Beatrice didn't come because apparently she knows what she's doing. And there are 2 other couples who are here and seem to be out-of-towners. Just like Chadwick's back in Kringle, the store is white with red accents, red and white striped curtains in the windows, and a display of candies in a case that stretches across the back of the store. And even the logo is the same, oval with red lettering, whereas Chadwick's advertises that his store was established back in the early 1900s. Theodore's is early 2020s. What a joke. But despite all of that, this feels kind of odd. Also kind of nice being here with Cole. The conversation in the truck was heavy, and I'm sure it's going to weigh on my chest for a very long time, but I wasn't there for him when he needed a friend, and that's not something I think I'll ever be able to get over. But since we accepted each other's apologies, things do feel a little bit kind of different. He's not so uptight. He's smiling more. He's friendly. He's talkative. And it's as if he was holding on to the past and what happened between us, and it was building and building into this dark cloud that hung over him. And the minute he let it all out, it just kind of dissipated. It's a relief. Have you done this before? I ask him as I take the copper bowl in front of us. Never, he says, but I heard it's not easy, so good luck to us. Great, I say as Theodore reappears. His assistant brings out a tray with our ingredients and then hands us the recipe. All right, there you have it, he says. I'll be around if you have any questions. What? What happened to the lesson? Does he really expect us to do this all ourselves? Jimmy's the first to speak up. Hey, are you not going to demonstrate? No, Theodore says. I've heard rumblings that Chadwick is waiting for all of you to fail due to my teachings. Therefore, I will not be teaching, just offering you the opportunity to practice. For those of you who are out of town and not participating with the Kringle competition, please step into the back with me and I will give you a private lesson. But, we paid for this, Jimmy says. And if you're in the back, how can we ask you questions? Let one of my assistants know and they'll call me if they think the question is important enough. And then with that, he moves back out of his kitchen with the out-of-towners. I turn to Cole. Well, that's rude. Rude, but, feels right somehow. Their feud is pretty heavy, so I'm not surprised this is how we're being treated. He picks up the recipe card. Well, might as well give this a shot. Okay, we need to grab the water and the sugar and the cornstarch and dump it all into the bowl and turn on the burner and then stir and let it boil until it's 320 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, that seems simple enough, I say as we work, I ask, why didn't Atlas come with you anyway? Isn't he your holly jolly sidekick? No, he is, Cole says as he's stirring, but he had some things he needed to do on the farm today and he told me to take, in his words, copious notes. I don't see a paper and pen with you, I say. Cole taps the side of his head. Nah, all up here. Oh, I'm sure that Atlas is really going to love that. Well, he'll bitch a little, but that's nothing new. And he hands me the wooden spoon. Do you want to stir? Sure, I say. How do we know the temperature of the mixture? I ask. Cole lifts up a thermometer. I think this thing. The instructions say to set it to the side of the bowl and make sure it doesn't touch the bottom. And while I carefully stir, he adjusts the thermometer, and then together we watch the heat rise. Huh, this isn't too bad. Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing, although I think it's the second part that's supposed to be the hardest. Yeah, you might, oh, sorry, wrong voice. Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing, although I think the second part is supposed to be the hardest. Yeah, you might be right, he says. Good thing I have you here to help me, since I'm so good at this Kringle stuff. Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. Good thing you have me here helping you, since you know I'm so good at this Kringle stuff. And that makes me dramatically roll my eyes, says the guy who made a Hawaiian fruitcake. Hey, no, that was on Max, not me. He was heavy-handed with the pineapple, and I tried to tell him, but he insisted that he knew best. Tanya spoke, and he didn't. Maybe you shouldn't let your sidekick be in charge? Look, he's a little more into this than I am. You gotta throw him a bone every once in a while. Oh, that's very holly jolly of you. Hence why I'm the front runner for the Christmas Kringle. You're in third place, I say. That's not the front runner. No. That means nothing. We will get back up there, especially after this candy cane competition. He takes the spoon from me and stirs. Look, I'm winning already. You're so stupid. I laugh. Dun dun dun. Oh, you're going to see Wicked again today? That's amazing. Okay, so that's the end of that chapter. I have heard that the candy cane chapter is apparently infamous, so tomorrow we will see what the infamous candy cane chapter is all about. Just as a reminder, I will likely be on, it was very sweet, those were very sweet few chapters. I will make sure to upload this today for anyone that missed the first part of it. I will probably be on around 3:30 or 4:30 to make the slime of the month for Patreon, and then tomorrow we have Roll for Slime. I make myself wait to see Wicked until Dawn was gone. Oh my gosh, how, Jen? How are you waiting? I don't understand that. I can actually be around all week. I took the whole week off. Lucky, that's amazing. It's your motivation, that's fair. So I will see you all later. We have Roll for Slime tomorrow, and we have Roll for Slime AD on Wednesday. So if you want a Christmas Roll for Slime after dark, please sign up for Wednesday. I need to see if there's any spots left for Wednesday. There's definitely group spots for both days, but not regular spots maybe. I'm not 100% sure. What else? I think that is the whole kit and caboodle. She was mad how Wicked ended. Why? Because it was only one part? Did she not know before going in that it was one part? I saw some people were upset because it didn't finish the show, but like, you know, it was part one, so it was just half of it. All right, so I gotta go because we have multiple doctor's appointments today, but I will see you all later this afternoon, and I hope you have a great day until then. Bye, guys.